In today's podcast, I want to talk about reversing 20 years of disconnection. Can emotionally disconnected marriages really heal? If you've been married for 20 years or even 10, and you feel lonelier now than you did when you were single, this video is for you. Maybe your ASD husband isn't cruel, maybe he works hard, maybe he provides for the family, but emotionally, he's simply not there. You've explained your feelings hundreds of times. You've cried, you've pleaded, you've written letters, you've gone to counseling, you've tried saying it more gently, you've tried saying it more directly, and somehow the same thing keeps happening. He gets defensive, he tells you you're overreacting, you're too emotional, he withdraws, he gets angry, or he simply shuts down. And after 20 years, you start asking yourself a heartbreaking question. Is this just who he is? So today, I want to offer a different perspective, not false hope, not magical thinking. There's no magic bullets, but a scientific explanation that may help you understand why this cycle has continued for decades and what genuine healing would actually require. Let's talk about how the problem isn't just communication. Many wives believe the problem is that their husband won't communicate. That certainly feels true, but underneath that is something much deeper. For most autistic husbands, emotional conversations are unconsciously processed as threat, not because they don't love you, not because they wake up wanting to hurt you, but because their nervous system has learned to associate emotional intensity with danger. By the time you say, well, we need to talk, his brain has already been preparing to defend itself. He's no longer listening with curiosity. He's listening for danger. He's waiting for an attack. Now, that doesn't excuse hurtful behavior, but it explains why communication advice alone fails. If the brain believes it's under attack, it will protect itself long before thoughtful communication can happen. Now let's look at 20 years of living in threat mode. Imagine this happening over 20 years. Every difficult conversation becomes another piece of evidence for both of you. You begin believing, I'll never matter emotionally. He begins believing, no matter what I do, I'm failing. And you become increasingly desperate for connection, and he becomes increasingly anxious about emotional conversations. The harder you reach, the more he pulls away. The more he pulls away, the more abandoned you feel. This isn't merely a communication cycle. It's two nervous systems trapped inside decades of learned prediction. Your nervous system predicts loneliness. His nervous system predicts criticism. And eventually, both predictions become automatic. Neither of you is responding only to today's conversation. You're responding to 20 years of accumulated emotional memory. Now let's talk about why he may not even notice what's happening. Here's something many neurotypical wives have never been told. Most autistic adults experience differences in interoception. Interoception is your ability to notice what's happening inside your own body, recognizing stress, feeling anxiety building, noticing emotional overload before it explodes. Most autistic people don't recognize these signals until they're already overwhelmed. Then, sensory overload gets added. Noise, unexpected changes, several conversations happening at once, emotional intensity, decision fatigue. By the time you're asking for emotional connection, his nervous system is already flooded. And from your perspective, it looks like he doesn't care. From his perspective, he may not even understand why he's suddenly shutting down. And again, this doesn't erase responsibility, but it changes where healing must begin. So on that note, let's look at what healing actually looks like. Many neurotypical wives hope that one counseling session, one breakthrough conversation, or one emotional apology will finally change everything. After 20 years, that almost never happens. Healing begins much smaller. The nervous system learns safety through repetition. It has to experience the same safe interaction over and over again before it stops expecting danger. This is why I emphasize structured emotional scripts. Not because relationships should sound mechanical, but because predictability calms the nervous system. When your ASD husband knows exactly what is about to happen, guess what? His brain spends less energy preparing to defend itself. When you know there is a structure for difficult conversations, your nervous system also begins relaxing because you're no longer walking into emotional chaos. Predictability becomes emotional safety, and safety becomes trust, and trust becomes connection. Not overnight, but gradually. Now, here's some important truth for the neurotypical wives out there suffering from Cassandra syndrome. You did not imagine loneliness. You did not invent the emotional disconnect. Years of feeling unseen can create profound grief. That's true. Understanding the neuroscience doesn't mean minimizing your pain. Compassion for your ASD husband's nervous system should never require abandoning compassion for your own. Your healing matters too, whether your marriage changes quickly, slowly, or not at all. Your emotional health deserves attention. You need predictable safety just as much as he does. So, can 20 years of disconnection be healed? Sometimes yes, but not because someone suddenly learns better communication techniques. Healing begins when two nervous systems stop expecting each other to be the enemy. One safe conversation, then another, then another. Thousands of small moments slowly replace thousands of painful ones. That's how brains change. That's how trust grows. And that's how marriages that once felt emotionally impossible can begin moving towards connection again. Now, if this video helped you better understand what you've been living through, subscribe to the channel. Every week I share practical strategies grounded in neuroscience, autism research, and decades of coaching experience to help wives living with Cassandra syndrome to understand what's happening, protect their own well-being, and discover what authentic healing can and can't look like. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, quick message to neurotypical wives out there who may be suffering from Cassandra syndrome. Do you feel emotionally exhausted, lonely, confused, disconnected in your relationship? And have you found yourself wondering, why do I feel so alone even though I'm married? And how did I lose myself somewhere along the way? And will I ever feel like me again? Okay, if so, you're not alone. Most of the neurotypical partners I work with experience profound emotional deprivation that slowly erodes their sense of self, confidence, and hope. Here's the good news though. Recovery is possible. I've created a recovery program that's now available as a self-paced online course. Originally offered as a live group, this program has helped participants understand the emotional deprivation they've experienced, make sense of the confusion and self-doubt, and begin rebuilding their sense of identity and emotional strength. Now you can go through the same material from the privacy and comfort of your own home and move through it at the pace that works best for you. Now, whether you're just beginning to understand what you've been experiencing or you've been searching for answers for years, this course will help you begin the journey back to yourself. You don't have to continue surviving on emotional crumbs. You deserve clarity, support, and you deserve to understand what's happened to you. And most importantly, you deserve to recover. The version of you that existed before confusion, exhaustion, and self-doubt is still there, and this course was created to help you find that part of yourself again. Enroll today, won't you? You don't have to wait for the next live group. Your healing can begin now. The link will be in the description area underneath this video and also pinned in the comments section. Hey guys, this is Mark. Some of you may not know that I have a lot of books on Amazon. So if you like my videos, you'll like my books. I have several for ASD spouses, for NT spouses, and for the neurodiverse couple. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this link. Feel free to click on that link and see what's available. I'm sure you'll find something that applies to you. So if you're struggling in your neurodiverse marriage, help is available. One click away.